Hello everyone and welcome back to my series on RNG manipulation in the Gen 7 Pokemon games. Just again, a reminder, this will work for any Gen 7 game, even though I'm using Ultra Moon. Today we are going to go into Wild RNG. I'm going to do a couple different kinds because depending upon your NPCs and everything, that will affect how easy or hard it will be, even though the process is the same. So I'm going to bring up my tool here so you can see it. I've already pre-populated it with the information. You can see I've already loaded in my seed, and since we're in the save screen, it started out at frame 478. So I've already got my shiny value. I'm using a different save just because I already have everything ready to go here. But I got my trainer shiny value here, TRV. I still don't have a shiny charm on this, so whatever. We're going to reset all our stuff to defaults. Right now we're still in the stationary RNG tab. We're going to want to go over to Wild and our RNG. And of course, make sure you are in the right version, because the encounter tables are different. So first things first, you have to know where you're going. So I'm going to load up and get things started here. And I am here in Route 1. And I'm pausing the emulation here. So I know I'm in Route 1. You can see there's a bunch. One of the best places to look is, you can look in Cerebi, there's encounter tables, Poke Slots, whatever your preferred method of finding out what the encounter tables are. But this tool does actually have it built in as well. You can see right here. Oh, well, you might not actually be able to see the drop-down menu. But here we go. You can see that it has the different encounters, and then whenever you move to a different Pokemon, you can see what encounter slot it is. So if you're looking for a specific Pokemon, you'll want to go off the encounter slot. If you just don't care and you want a shiny, go for it. By all means, you don't have to care. So we got our route, and that will update some things like level range automatically. It's not raining, thankfully. You have to know whether it's day or night, just because the encounter tables are different. Like, for example, Rattata spawns at night, and it's a Yungoos during the day. So you just have to know whether it's day or night. Again, if you care about these things. But if you choose your Pokemon, it will also update the gender ratio, depending. But you got our levels. We want normal wild. This is just normal wild. And then you have your stats you could filter for things, and then your frame range and everything, like we've talked about in my previous video for starter RNG. Now, I'm going to hide the tool just for a second here, so you can see I have frozen emulation right now. I've got my menu open, I'm standing in the grass, and I have the cursor currently over the bag, because you'll need to do this setup. Because you need to go into the bag at the specific frame you want to trigger the encounter. You also need honey. This won't work without honey, because when you use honey as an item in grass, it will trigger an encounter. So that way you can guarantee there will be an encounter at that particular frame. It'll force it to exist. So that's your requirements. You need honey. You need to be highlighting your bag. And then just make sure you get everything else right in your tool. So this spot right here is a 0 NPC area. I know this from experience. There are some resources. I'll try to link those in the description on finding 0 frame areas, 0 NPC areas, because this is by far giving you the most amount of flexibility. Now, how do I know? Well, if you advance, you can see here, and keep your eye on that. But it will advance. Every time I advance, it only goes up by 1. Now, 0 NPC areas are fantastic because you can hit any frame. You don't have to worry about a timeline. In fact, looking at the tool, this is blink frame only. You don't even have to care about this. You could just go straight to create timeline, and there's your timeline. You're all set. So you could just put in whatever you want, as your target. So, here we go. We can already see at frame 648, we will find these stats, a hasty Pokemon. It will not be synced. So this is another important thing that we can pay attention to. Starters, it didn't matter, they couldn't be synced. But if you see an X here, that means that sync won't come into effect. If you see a circle, an O, it means that if you have a Pokemon with sync in the lead, it will change the nature to whatever that sync Pokemon is. And you can actually choose that here. So you can put your lead is synchronized. And yeah, you can put your lead is synchronized. There's other things too. You can have Cute Charm, Magnet Pull, whatever, because that does change your encounters a little bit. So just make sure that if you have something like that to change that lead. But here we'll have, it won't be synced. It'll Hidden Power Water. It'll be shiny. It'll be female if this encounter slot handles that kind of thing. Second ability. And then it'll be encounter slot 8, which in this particular case is a Grubbin. And again, you can look at your Poke Slots or whatever to figure that out. So let's try to get this one. Let's give it a shot. So we're already at frame 600. We only have to advance to frame 648. So this is going to be quick enough that I don't even need to jump cut. So we're just going to advance. Take a little while to do it. But you can see it. The problem with the 0 NPC area is that you end up with situations where you're going a lot of frames and it'll take a while. So I'm going to go over how to do that. Right now you see that frames are not actually advancing, and that's because my tool broke. Which happens sometimes. So you can see that while I was talking, I ended up bypassing it. So, forget all this. We're going to go to frame 3860. Actually, you know what? Let's just go for a Pichu. These are the rare slot. You can see that there isn't even one in the first 5,000 frames that's shiny. So we're going to have to go even higher than that. Let's go high. No shiny Pichus coming up for a while. Well, we can advance a ton of frames. So, if you're in a 0 NPC area, the best way to advance frames, and you can do this easily, is to go to Festival Plaza. Because any frame is hittable, you don't have to worry about creating a timeline or anything afterwards. I like to go inside, and you can see right now, look at my frames. They're advancing really, really quickly. So we're going to go ahead and do this for a little while, and I'm even going to speed it up. We're going to go super fast here, and we're going to go tens of thousands of frames in a minute. Just one of the advantages of an emulator. But even so, it's still advancing really fast, considering how long it would take. A 0 NPC area would take, I mean, looking at my tool right here, you're looking at, like, going 42,000 frames takes half an hour. And my tool froze again. That's one of the problems. If you're using pcalc, it'll be a lot easier. Alright, so let's see. We've reached a new area. A new bunch of frames, so let's go ahead and do our timeline, see what we got coming up now. Well, 38375, that's a slot 2, which is a Pick-a-Peck. No, yeah, Pick-a-Peck. 7, 8. Here's 9. Interesting. 9 is a Pichu. I want a Pichu. So we're going to advance to 93315, which, again, we're going to want to go back to the Festival Plaza for this one. And again, this is only really effective if you're in a 0 NPC area. Because if you're not, it will take quite a while to get what you want, because you're going to have to recalibrate your timeline afterwards, and that's always a problem. So I would recommend this advancement method if you are in a 0 NPC area. If you're in more than one, you're just going to have, if you're in one or more, you're just going to have to wait it out, figure it out yourself. But we'll go, after this, we'll do a 1 NPC area, or more, rather. But here we are, we're advancing, and since we're going really fast, we're already at 60,000 frames. So I'll just do a quick jump cut to when we reach our goal. Okay, we are moving back into out of Festival Plaza because we're getting pretty close. Alright, so we're at 91,000. I'm going to speed up just a little bit more again. Just because you can see how much slower things are progressing. But I don't want to miss the frame because we progressed so far. So we're at less than 1,000 frames to go. And then once we get really close, we'll slow things down, we'll pause, and we'll start slowly advancing. Alright, so we're at 93,035. So we're going to advance all the way to 315. Alright, let's go ahead and just advance from here. Just a few more to go. Alright, 311, 312, 313. Okay, 93315. So here we are. So now we're at the right frame. We verified everything is right. So we hold A and then advance frame by frame to enter the bag at the exact frame we wanted. And here we are. Now you'll notice once we're in the bag, frames stop advancing, so you can just take it easy. You're good. So all you have to do is use your honey. And I'm going to go over here and move over to the Wild Pokemon tab. And look at that! I mean, we can already tell it's the shiny one, but update our tool here and you can see. Yep, Pichu, Calm, Static, Shiny, obviously, and bringing up our tool again, we can see that it has the same stats that we were expecting. So we obviously hit the frame, and we don't need to do any sort of calibration. Sometimes if you are off, you have to do your frame calibration like you did, like I mentioned at the starter. Basically, you find out what the stats are, what frame the stats are that represent what you actually got, and then just subtract or add, figure out, and then just change in your tool, change the delay here. Instead of having it 8, just make it match so that whatever frame you hit gave you the right stats, and then you can try it again with another piece of honey. But I found my Pikachu, not Pikachu, my Pichu. I'm just going to go ahead and catch it. Come join the party, boy. So yeah, that's... okay. Come on, man. Don't do that. Of course, it's going to call for help, too. Pichu has a really high call rate. Oh, but it didn't appear. Alright, well, cool. Now he'll stay. But now that's wild RNG. You just use honey at the exact right frame, and you get the Pokemon you want. Maybe you have to adjust for delay a little bit, but that's all. And there we go. We got our Pichu. So that's really easy and all, but what happens if you are in an area with more than one NPC? We don't need to nickname this one. Well, let's go ahead and I will cut away after I go to another area. I'm going to go to Holy City because that is a pretty busy area. So I will catch you in just a couple of seconds once I get to where I'm trying to go. Okay, so we're back. Here we are, we're in Holy City. And we are in an area, so look at my frames. Ooh. Okay, look at my frames. We see it's going up by more than 1. So it's going up by 3 each time I advance. So first off, let's bring up our tool. So we're not in Route 1 anymore. We are in Holy Shopping District. I believe we're in Shopping District 1, and it is important because they have different they have different encounter tables. But the NPCs listed 0, that ain't right anymore. So I saw, whenever I advance, I see it go up by 3. So it always advances by 1, and then each NPC adds an additional 1. So I believe that we have 2 NPCs. Now, one thing you can see is that this blink frame turned to safe frame only, and that is important because we have to create a timeline. So let's put in our current frame, put it here, click safe frame only, and then we go to calculate. And you want to make sure that everything else is the same. Alright, so according to this, we are in a safe frame. I'm going to do one more advance just to make sure. Okay, yeah, so 99303, and we're going to set that as our starting frame, create a timeline. Exactly like when you're doing a starter, we create our timeline once we're on a safe frame. You don't want to create a timeline when you're not on a safe frame, because otherwise that'll throw everything off and make you really sad. So here we are, 303, 306, 309, 312. Alright, we're reasonably sure we're right. So now that we have our timeline calibrated, we can now actually look for what we can actually look for a Pokemon with specific stats or whatever we're looking for. And you can see things are not looking so rosy already because we don't have as many things to pick from. And keep in mind, I don't have a shiny charm listed. If I did, you'd see, let's just show you. That's a lot more frames. So obviously, if you have a shiny charm, use it. But here we are. We have slot 2, which is Wingull. Here we have slot 4, which is Mime Jr. I like that. I want a Mime Jr. Alright, so I'm going to set that as my target. And now you see this goes to 0. So we're looking for 162862, which will take, it says 14 minutes. I'll speed things up a little bit. But let's get started. First off, make sure that you are over the bag. And yeah, make sure that you're over the bag, and then we start advancing. And I will cut back in once we actually reach our target. Okay, and we are back. We're pretty close now. You can see we're only about 1,000-ish frames from our target, so we're going to advance. And it took a while to get there, but hopefully it's worth it. Alright, so we're almost there. 162. Alright, we got about 800 frames to go. And alright, let's slow down. Let's advance by hand here. So yeah, we're advancing all the way up, and so you see, this is essentially the same as if we had 0 NPCs. We just have to create a timeline ahead of time so that we can hit it. And this is also why I wouldn't suggest you go into the Festival Plaza, because if you create your timeline, you're like, okay, I want to hit this frame, and then you go to Festival Plaza, when you pop out, there's no guarantee you're going to end up on the same timeline as you were last time, and then all that work is wasted. Alright, 49. 58. 60. Okay, 162862. And so we're already highlighting our bag. Hold A, go on in. And we're already at our honey. Frames are not advancing. Okay, take a deep breath. You've earned it. Use the item. And I'm going to update this as soon as... Alright. You can already see, if you looked, you could actually see before the encounter started that we got the right frame, because as soon as the battle starts, is triggered by the honey, you can update your wild frame in your RNG tool. And yeah, you can see we got the Mr. Mime, we got a Mime Jr., shiny, of course, and I'm looking at the tool real fast, but all the stats line up. Odds are, if you got the shiny frame, you got the right stats, because they're not usually clumped up that close together. But we're good. We got it. Let's catch it. And also, yes, that Aegislash is in fact shiny. I caught it using, again, RNG manipulation, and Island Scan is very similar to Wild RNG. We'll cover that one next time. But we're just going to catch our Lime Jr. Oh, come on. Come on, buddy. Well, we'll false swipe it. Oh, right. SOS, just keep in mind, if it calls for help, you have to deal with its annoying friend, because of the fact that you cannot catch a Pokemon while there's an SOS. And SOS RNG is also a thing that you can do, and I think personally it's one of the more fun and powerful ones, because you can get really high IV Pokemon with hidden abilities. It's awesome. Alright, let's toss a Great Ball. Get this thing in there. Alright, we're golden. So yeah, you can see that's exactly how you do Wild RNG, depending upon which location you are. The only thing you need to do is know how many NPCs you're dealing with. Now, this is one area where actually using the 3DS is better, because the pCalc tool actually tells you how many NPCs are in the area. This RNG for Citra does not. So keep that in mind. In general, you just want to count out how many frames you advance. So if you advance up, if an advance goes, every time you advance you go up 3 frames, just take away 1 from that, so you could have 2 NPCs. If you're not right, just do your timeline, and if your timeline isn't lined up, just keep going until you think you found it. I'll try to kind of create a little area, a little page of 0 NPC areas, and then kind of like common ones, but it's all kind of up to you. And if at first you don't succeed, just try again. Anyways, next time we're going to go over Island Scans and RNG for that, because Island Scans are fun. You can get some good Pokemon with egg moves that are not in the Alolan Pokedex, which is cool. And then we'll cover a little bit of SOS, just because that's fun. But we've also got breeding and fishing and some other stuff as well. So we'll get into all that. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, let me know. I really do like the feedback. But I will talk to you all next time. Thank you for watching.